Yeah, that was really good.
All right. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to Day 4, Week 1. This is about fun. Today we wore our fun outfits.
It's black and white, which isn't fun, but still fun.
We
has the unicorn on it.
We have a little preview to tomorrow's video about games. Go ahead.
About that?
Yeah, go ahead. Show it.
Poof!
Poof! These are some dice that were keychains that I turned into clip-on earrings.
Yeah.
And so
I don't have my ears
pierced. I
clip-ons.
too try to follow suit with my butterfly balsa wood earrings. They're very delicious.
So get
your
my
unicorn
ears.
university jumpsuit.
Whenever I wear it, I feel like I'm a basketball player.
You do?
Because it's like overalls. It's a t-shirt connected to pants, so it feels like overalls.
Our discussion today is about fun. And
yes.
So fun needs to be unstructured. Tomorrow we'll talk about how fun can be structured with games, and we'll do a whole discussion about that. But today, thinking about what makes fun and how to break boredom and how to make it different, we're really talking about association, the power to associate what's good and what we like with new things or maybe different things. Yes, ma'am?
So I also have something fun.
What's that? Oh, my. Funny faces. Always an easy way for a little bit of fun. We like the fun. Yeah. Looking good. Grown-ups tend to be less good at the funny faces. No, you can't drink. Please don't. Is that working for you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cheers. Cheers. That's and her hydration today. Very important. Hydration. Me.
Caffeination.
Caffeination.
Hydration.
The grown-ups are often less skilled at things like funny faces.
Yeah.
In part because we are in need of caffeination. And yeah. As also another little preview of our book today, which is about association, about how we associate
get to quick
things that are fun. How do they have it? No.
Quick flixies.
Really. All right.
Unseeable.
So the other thing we have to bring up whenever it comes to fun is what makes fun usually is because there's no point to it, because it's not structured, because it's not planned in advance. It just is spontaneous. But so boundaries in fun can be really important, because when you're having fun and say someone starts not having fun, you have to stop. You have to stop the fun until you can find out why they're not having fun.
Like, I believe I've said at some point, maybe even tomorrow I've said it. That makes no sense.
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
We might have
tomorrow I
games.
may have said it.
We worked on games before we worked on the fun.
Yeah.
So we were a little out of order.
I believe we've worked on other things before others. So I believe tomorrow I've said it.
Yeah. She said it tomorrow.
I said before at some point, some things can be fun, like a 4-year-old drawing on the walls, but then it's not good. It's not.
No.
Have I ever drawn on the walls? Oh, no, right. I already know that answer. Have I ever drawn on the walls when I was little? I was 7 when I did that.
Yes. I want to say I think that's what little kids do when they are playing and they're in the mode of play is they have whatever feels like fun, they do more of and a lot of until, of course, they hit a boundary. And when you hit a boundary, you do have to learn how to stop what you're doing and make sure that you acknowledge the boundary, because sometimes fun is really important to have, and you want to defend the idea that if you're having fun, you should have more fun. Like, fun begets fun. But when it hits the boundary, when it's too much or it could be harmful to others, then the fun has to be limited. Just because fun always should be fun. And once fun stops being fun, then you really have to be very thoughtful about how you impact others. By playing with an ordinary thing in a new way, you can discover through creativity, through interaction with others, again, how you interact with others. We did that with doodling. I think when you think something isn't good, but you give it to someone else and they can turn it into something good, that too becomes where fun usually, not only fun for yourself, but fun with others. Fun can be made more fun when you're having fun with others. You confirm each other and say, oh, I associate happy, fun things with this. Oh, me too. So for us, Rosie's love of unicorns is so enjoyable to her and so much what she loves. We talked about this in our discussion of day one of our discussion of taste. You love it so much. But now for me, when I see unicorns, I think to myself, oh my gosh, how fun. Grown-ups do this actually. When you are all asleep and we see one of your TV shows come up on the television, we think, oh, I have to watch this. And then we're like, wait a minute. Why am I going to watch this? Because we know how much fun it is for you. When we see that show, we still associate so much fun that it's as if you're there, even though you're not there.
Yeah. And I eventually stop.
Sometimes the fun does.
Some I get interested.
Sometimes the fun runs out. Yeah. Sometimes you have fun with something and you really love it and you play with it and you enjoy it, but then it becomes boring. So we want to find that nice happy spot between boring, fun, and boring again. All right, so we have these all right, so she's got to take these off because now they're not fun. They're not that fun anymore.
Yeah,
you're allowed
to
actually
stop. Carry weight.
It's as long as it's fun, it's great. And then when it's not fun, stop.
They're my favorite colors.
Just stop. Yeah. It is important that we protect fun by acknowledging what's not fun and respecting the not fun. Yeah. I'm gonna record this one.
Oh, we're recording?
Yay!
Yeah.
So now we're recording it.
Jen's Virtual Summer Camp 2020, 2020, 2020.
So we did. So
2020, 2020, 2020. I don't even know what accent that is.
What are you doing? I don't think it's an accent.
It's fun.
So lots of ways in which playing with things, experimenting with things, funny voices, funny faces,
yes,
wordplay, Mad Libs. This is how you make fun when you're super bored.
Yeah, I can do a very fun thing with my voice that she finds annoying.
I can't say that that's going to end up in the video. All right. Oh. So we have our featuring Rosie. Me, Rosie. Week 1, day 4. Yay! This is our Thursday.
Earrings.
And it's about fun.
Purple. Purple is my favorite color.
Purple.
And fun. I love fun and purple. I actually want to explain something about why Rosie is purple and red. Rose, red. My favorite color is purple. Explained. I just wanted to explain that.
Okay. So how do you have fun with everyday things? Mm-hmm. So this is the difficult thing. If you're surrounded by things and you don't have a lot of your toys are boring you. This is a something that I got from an artist, Lisa Congdon, who does collage work. And Lisa Congdon takes everyday objects and she arranges them and takes pictures of them. They're colorful. One of them that she does all the time are all these old erasers, different color erasers, different style of erasers from all over the world. People send her erasers, and then she arranges them into these really colorful collages that she takes pictures of, and they're just so fun. And I think this is where she's inspiration for something like me taking my bananas and arranging them on my table. But then what I did is I took the photo and I made it
black and white.
So it looks like an art piece. And
is that our countertop?
Yes.
Oh, it is a countertop. I think I lost the sneeze. I need to sneeze, but we stopped recording.
You are messing with me now, right?
We stopped recording for a second, and I need to sneeze. And then we tried to start recording because it's like my catchphrase, and I'm like, I need to go Kachu, I need to go Kachu. And so, yeah, my sneeze didn't happen.
So I took something like putting bananas on the countertop and turned it into something that was really fun, and that's what we did.
It's a banana heart.
We started doing a whole bunch of collections of stuff. And so here's some video of us going out and collecting. Rosie wanted to collect rocks because she just is fascinated by rocks. She loves rocks, all different kinds of rocks. And I love metal. I love like the look of metal, but I took scrap metal from the ground.
I like how the metal came out more than the rocks because can't really do that with rocks, except for 2 pieces that we found.
Just even finding like a rock that really you wanted. Cool. Yeah, the rock that you finding rocks that you wanted to add to your collection in your bag, and then finding pieces of metal to add to my bag.
The metal horseshoe. Well, you'll see.
I think it's a spike. I think it's like an industrial staple. But even then, it's such a great shape. But then we went one step further and we started messing with again playing with something. Yeah, experimenting.
We put it in Coke.
We put it in Coca-Cola because we heard that was a good idea. We thought, oh, what's gonna do?
My dad said that, and guess what? One of the things rusted.
Yeah,
it was super clean and pretty, and he said it was from IKEA, and like rusted.
We left the Coca-Cola for a good 2 days.
And some things rusted, and then
there was like something biological in there, and like it was just stinky. I think there was bacteria and
she said it was a biohazard. I don't know what that means, but it seems right.
That's where the fun stopped, and then I had to clean everything off. We also decided in those few days to also make our own pizzas, so we have that in there. So as we were
separately.
Well, yes, one had
we did the pizzas first. We did the pizzas first, just to get that clear.
No. We collected the stuff.
Yeah,
we put it in the Coca-Cola, and then we left it, and then we made pizzas.
And then we took the stuff out.
And then we took the stuff out, and it was really smelly and gross. And so as long as everything got cleaned off, and then we did arrangements, and we did photo arrangements. So
you'll see that. So we're getting our bags. I'm ready to go.
As we picked up pieces of metal.
That was the IKEA one.
And the rocks. We saw.
There's so many rocks. That kind of looks like gold before. The water, that's water droplets in a spider web. Because when it rains, the spider web catches it, and then it stays that way.
But we saw a lot of beautiful natural things amongst all the.
That's the metal horseshoe you
garbage.
Saw before.
So much garbage on the floor.
We had to be careful, because some really good stuff was on the road.
Yeah, and the nails too. You had to be really careful picking them up. That tree was so beautiful, and there were a whole bunch of rocks under that. And then we found old bolts. And I wish we could have taken this home with us, but there was a lot of metal garbage that was too big to take home. There's our key. And that's the metal plate. Cheers, great job.
Of course we washed our hands.
Several times. So there's the collection of metal. That was my bag. And we started to clean it with just water, and then we started to clean it with spray. And then we just started to try to see what we had, and we just put it on a plain coral piece of paper. And as you see, a lot of it was very rusty and still kind of gross. But it was interesting to see what we had, right?
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Did it look like a thumbs up? I thought it looked like a thumbs down.
No, you gave a thumbs up. You were giving thumbs up throughout.
Yeah.
Do you remember giving a
way too many thumbs up.
There we go. A nice clean piece of paper. And then I think we were gonna. You're like waiting for me. There we go. The rocks start coming out. We're very excited about this because you did collect some really nice rocks, and that's that pink tile rock.
Super cool.
And then again, a thumbs up again. There's the honeycomb brick piece.
I call it the honeycomb.
Yes.
I call it the honeycomb.
So you see here, you're starting to arrange them. You're thinking about it.
Yeah. I think throughout I did them very close together. Because the metal you can separate, but the rocks, they're in all different shapes. They're not very clean-sided, so I went and did it close together.
There are definitely different styles of collecting and then different styles of collage.
I even used my glove.
You made me laugh because I didn't even know this was on the video. And then
it was a thumbs up.
Another thumbs up. So here we are.
This is where we put the Coca-Cola in. Bad decision.
But as we
see
said,
the IKEA piece.
when you're having fun with stuff, it is really important to make mistakes because you're still learning from the mistakes, right? When you fail big, because the failing big makes you really know things that otherwise you wouldn't have known.
Like the teacher says, fail forward. She read that somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good idea to communicate. There's where I was just cleaning off and it was like a little sticky and it left behind residue. This was after it was in the Coca-Cola, the bottle cap too. And then that's the disgusting biohazard. I can still smell it. I still smell it when I see this image.
Luckily, I don't have the best sense of smell, so I don't still smell it.
Like I do. I have a very good sense of smell.
Oh, the horseshoe.
Oh, it was so slimy.
Yeah, I remember the smell.
Okay, good. See?
It's not good.
Thank goodness this isn't smell-o-vision. Otherwise, you too.
Oh gosh.
Would be very sad. You see all the stuff that's left just in the water, just by dipping. And after a certain point, I wasn't even going to try anymore. I just was like scooping stuff out with my pliers. I was like, let's get this out of here.
It was such a biohazard, she had to use her pliers.
Was trying to use what I had, and then just get that out of there. So here is also another version of one of these collages that I did.
Where'd you find those?
I know, all over the house I had these Allen keys, which is kind of like a screwdriver, but it's like for certain kinds of furniture. You can see there's actually a screwdriver end on one of the Allen keys, right? That's the Phillips head.
There's also a gold one.
It looks like a little star, right? So the one that looks like a little star, that's like a traditional screwdriver. But I had all these different sized Allen keys over the house, so I collected all of them.
There's also
I put them on the counter again, and I arranged them. And then I turned it into like a blue abstract kind of image. I put it through a couple of the filters, and it just looked really funky. Doing the collecting and then taking photographs and then playing with the filters. The fun was for me. That it produced something was secondary. That it made a pretty abstract photograph that wasn't as important as I had fun messing around with the filters, taking the pictures, arranging the things. And sometimes just that activity of just moving things around and playing with things in ways that aren't for a goal is how you enjoy the experience of creating fun where otherwise everyday objects are boring. There's nothing to them, not that interesting. Yeah. So I did that with this is the collection of the metal post Coca-Cola.
The horseshoe.
We found a key, a bottle cap.
For whoever lost the key.
I love the arrangement of this. It looks like it's like on a wall hanging.
I think the key
the way the shadows
melted a little bit.
A little corroded.
Yeah. Did we take a photo of before we put in the Coca-Cola? I think
in the video, again, I don't really know how interesting all of that can be as fun, but at least you could see us doing things that became fun for us as a model. So then I put it through some filters, and you can see even just like the blue light starts to make these things, these everyday pieces of garbage that we found along the side of the road.
That little nail right there next to the key, it looks new.
And again, the way this looks, just by changing the light, by playing with filters like light and color, you see something different. It looks a little different. The texture, if you go back to the original one, the reds and the kind of rustiness looks very different than when you put it in a blue filter with blue light. And again, the shadows are a little bit more intense here, but the shadows are less intense here. And that also creates a kind of visual effect. Yeah. Again, really fun to keep experimenting. So then I washed it out.
It looks kind of like animated a little bit.
Right.
Or like different photos just added in different places.
Different photos create a different fact. Again, if you look at the little horseshoe staple thing, it really also...
It also nude it up.
It like washes it out. So then just a different photo angle. Yeah. And we got a flashlight. It
looks kind of like in nighttime plus a flashlight.
It made the plate, the little metal plate, look golden, right? There's like golds in that. And the key too. The key looks very golden. Again, just the angle makes things, emphasizes some things and not others. Again, changing the filters and the light and the color. It just becomes, with these same set of objects that are kind of like gross and corroded, become aesthetically interesting. Like to other people, not just to me as the person taking pictures. This is
Yeah.
Rosie's collection of rocks. She arranged them. She arranged them for herself. What did you think?
I really like the stones that looks like a honeycomb and the pink one.
So I like too what you found in your scavenging for assorted rocks that you liked.
Yeah.
You found this pink one. And the pink doesn't come out as well here in this.
Yeah.
This is the first photograph we took, the original, and then you arranged it on. It's photo paper only because the photo paper was really like glossy and easy to clean because we washed these rocks, but the rocks still had like a little bit of dirt, and you don't want the dirt in the photo. You can see a little bit here and there, might have a little bit, but we were trying to keep the imagery as clean as possible. And then you put it through this filter. I think it was like a reverse vignette.
Looks a little bit more like it did in this filter.
And in some pictures, the honeycomb of the brick shows up more, sometimes less. I like that the yellowy orange one in the top always looks, if you're not careful, like a piece of chewed gum, like a hardened, fossilized piece of gum, but it doesn't here. It does look like a rock. So then we put it in a blue plus the reverse vignette. A vignette is when you have the filter kind of centralized in the middle, and it creates a blackness or a faded black around toward that focal point. But this is a reverse one where it's white on the outside. So once I say that, you can now see that she was playing with the idea that the around the vignette is all washed out.
I need to go get you.
We got it!
Yay!
Now we're looking forward to sneezes. Very strange. All right.
Yeah. I'm sorry I let you down.
No, okay. So this is the pink hues of the image here.
Finding the right position.
So the pink hues, I like the way it also makes the gray stand out a little more, and that black piece right there, which is like, I think, a piece of asphalt. I was like looking at you, I'm like, why are you picking up?
It looks cool.
The road.
Asphalt looks cool.
Yeah. When I grew up, there was always lava rocks. We had lava rocks, and they look a little bit like that. That really rocks? Well, lava rocks are exactly what they sound like.
There are rocks from lava?
Lava, when it dries and hardens, becomes black. Rock. It's a very porous stone, so there's lots of holes in it. It's actually really, really sharp. It creates like really sharp. And I remember having these lava rocks, and we had to be really careful not to bump into them because they would cut you. So we then really made the most with this like cool filter.
Like it's animated. And the honeycomb, and now realizing, looks so weird. The honeycomb.
And this too reminds me of our doodles, right? So the doodling that we did, where you're just taking patterns from nature. This is where we're really showing that nature has its own kind of doodle to it, right? It doodles. But again, the filters that we played with and abstracted it enough that everyday rocks that you found alongside the road that you arranged on a thing turned into like a cool pattern.
The asphalt, it looks like an X-ray.
Yeah. I like that. It does look really cool. You're making such funny faces.
The honeycomb one that, it looks like a germs.
Okay, so that was so I took her rocks and then I arranged them. And you see mine's a little bit more spread out.
I feel like if you tilt it, it looks...
So, yeah, and I also...
like tilt it.
Yeah, you can see what you're doing is you're naturally following the shadows. If you can see, this is a picture I turned upside down. The shadows are as if the light source is going up. But that's not how in nature we see things. So by taking the picture and flipping it around, our eye is kind of thrown off because we're expecting light sources to come down or come straight forward. So the shadows are always either to the side or underneath an object.
It doesn't. But I was actually just looked at the honeycomb and then.
You can see the shadows are on top. So it tells our brain like, wait, what? Like, why are you doing that? So here I did like a very faded black and white, and you can see some stuff really stood out. Again,
just faded to the background.
Love the black and white. Black and white can be really boring, but then when you take everyday objects and you put them through a black and white filter, all of a sudden it becomes really like you see it in a whole new way. And that's fun. Fun is to take something that you associate in one context, everyday, ordinary, boring, and you bring it into a whole new context. And all of a sudden you see it in this new way. That's fun. fun is possible once you take that context and you reassociate it with new things or new ideas. And sometimes it really is, you got to play with stuff to get that new perspective. Okay, so then I did the flashlight light source, and the intensity of that also highlighted the texture of the rocks, which is wonderful about rocks. I love texture.
The honeycomb one looks like it just popped out.
It totally popped out because of how
So
I moved the light and created a light source that's artificial. Like I did that on purpose so that it would look really kind of like lit up in a weird way, not like as if it was sunshine, because that's usually when we see rocks out in the sunshine, but this we usually don't see rocks like this. And then of course I kept playing with it, but I accidentally messed with the filters on the chalkboard background.
The chalkboard looks cool.
So
I like this. I like this.
That ended up being kind of fun itself. So
I like this chalkboard.
So when you're playing, mistakes get integrated into the fun.
Yeah.
So mistakes are never really mistakes. A fail is wonderful. Like our Coca-Cola fail was just made room for us to find other ways to do fun.
Yeah.
It was a good way of learning how to take something that can feel very nerve-wracking. Like when you feel like you're going to fail, when you feel like you're going to make a mistake. I know, Rosie, I know you feel like this sometimes too. It's hard to do anything when you're just worried about making a mistake. If you're worried about making a mistake and having a fail, then you don't do it at all. And that's what's nice about playing, is that you can like totally tank and fail, and yet it's still really interesting. It's still like really good information about how to play differently or how to play in a new way and keep playing. And sometimes those mistakes are really funny. They're really odd. And they make you want to do something new, right? Try out something new. Okay, so I went back to the old thing. But this, I went full-blown like firelight yellow.
Yeah, fire.
The filter that
one
was there,
rock, you can barely see it.
yeah, so
And
the
the
rocks
pink turned red, and some rocks just faded in, and some look like coal, and others look like darkness.
Yeah.
Like just
and the
a
light,
hole.
if you look, the light highlights are bright white. And then everything looks like it has almost like a fire, like a torch on it. And if you think about it, rocks really were made from fire, right? The core of the earth is fire, right? It's the stuff of the sun. Did you know that?
Well, I do have a book that is all about rocks. I used to be, when I was 4, I was literally obsessed with rocks and diamonds and all things rocks.
And that book is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The photographs of the rocks, the different kinds of rocks, and the categories
And
of
it
rocks.
explained to me silver and gold and even bronze.
Yeah. Very
Isn't
cool.
bronze a kind of metal?
Our trivia bite today
And your artistic
is
voice.
based on Lisa Congdon, the artist we referred to today, the one that inspired our idea of taking pictures of collections of everyday things and turning them into something creative and aesthetically interesting.
How did Lisa Congdon find her artistic voice?
I
don't even know that.
Well, if you Google Lisa Congdon's book, Find Your Artistic Voice, you'll see videos of her talking about her art practice and how she saw herself as somebody who was really creative and fascinated by certain things, and she let that interest and that fascination drive her into art making. And I think this is a really nice bit of trivia that we discussed today as how art practices or different kinds of practices of collecting things and playing with things and having fun with things that are ordinary and turning them into something aesthetically interesting is fun. That's a way in which your life can have more fun in it, especially if you're finding the things that are meant to be fun aren't as fun. If you get bored with your video games, if you get bored with television, if you get bored around the house, that just finding something you really like a lot of, like we talked about in day 1, something that just really interests you, and collecting them, finding ways to collect ordinary things that are, and just right now I'm in the middle of collecting corks because I think I want to try to carve a cork. I don't really know how to do that, but I'm going to try to do that. And you're collecting
bottle caps.
Bottle caps. So at some point, and all kinds of bottle caps. We have so many bottle caps.
Like medicine bottle caps, soda bottle caps, water bottle caps. I even collected.
We get yelled at if we throw out a cap.
Yeah.
If we try to recycle our caps.
Yeah.
That.
And I'm gonna just, after I've collected enough, I'm gonna take one big canvas and I'm just gonna put the biggest one, cat out in the middle, and just. I planned the whole thing.
Right.
Oh, maybe we can do that for art. Collect your bottle caps, kids. I came up with an idea.
But I think that's part of the fun, is not just simply doing what other people do, but doing something that you find interesting.
Yeah.
And then trying to keep that going for yourself. You are the designer of your own fun. I think why we read The Bug That Went Ka-Choo today is because I think it's... That's very good. So we read The Bug That Went Ka-Choo today because this is about what philosophers call the difference between correlation and causation. Sometimes we associate things and we say A causes B, right? This caused me to be bored. This caused me to have fun. But what we're going to argue
is more people may know cause and effect.
Cause and effect, right. And if you study science, if you study, Rosie does STEAM activities, it's STEM plus art, that if you do any of that kind of stuff in school, you've learned what causation looks like. But it's how creativity can be about association, and association can teach you how to learn how to correlate things. Like what is fun from what's not fun can be something that you learn to build correlations with. And that's negotiable. That you can change. Causation you can't. If something causes something, then that effect is a given. That's going to happen, right? If you do something, it causes something, the effect is something that is knowable, something that we can discuss. So cause and effect, if you were to explain what that is, what is that? What do you think?
Cause and effect right there. I almost spilt my water bottle because I don't have very good grip.
So here's the little bug that went ka-choo.
Ka-choo!
And, of course, the bug got mad. The worm got mad because it got hit in the head because the bug sneezed and it knocked off a seed. And then there was kicking the tree, and then they hit the turtle, and then the turtle went flying, and then, yeah, the chicken kicked the bucket
because the chicken, no, it was the hen.
The hen was really mad, and then it goes into Farmer Brown's house, and the next thing you know, Farmer Brown is like projectiled and sinks a boat, and then all the people are in the water, and then they come get saved by a helicopter, which then whirly-birds them into town, and the next thing you know, it's a circus.
Yeah, and it all started with a little bug.
If you were to explain cause and effect, how would you explain it?
Cause and effect is when, let's say, you do something, it does something to something else or another person or something. Like here, the little bug went ka-choo, and it like got over and put the little seed and hit a turtle, and it kept doing the cause and effect over and over and over again.
And the book's arguing that, of course, because the bug went ka-choo, it led to a big circus parade in town. That is a very strange story, right? Yeah. Not what we expect. Why I bring up cause and effect, why we're talking about it in this context, is because usually we don't know the cause, but we only get to observe the effects. So we only know, like, a big circus parade.
Yeah, like the Mrs. and Mr. Brown, I think it is. They don't know how everything started. They just know the chicken spilt the bucket and it went on Mr. Brown's head. That's,
right.
They don't know how it happened.
Right.
They just know the effect happened.
And that kind of question is how scientists and philosophers think. They'll see the effect of something and they'll say, "Why did that happen? How did that happen?" So in studying effects or what we see or how things work, a scientist will go and look for the cause. They'll look to say, like, how is this happening and how often? Even in medicine, by looking at the effect of you being sick, your symptoms, what they do is they diagnose the cause. A doctor looks and says, well, I know it's a virus causing you to be sick. It's not because they see the virus. It's because they use their their mind and their knowledge and their training to say, I know it's this kind of virus, specifically this kind of virus that causes this kind of sickness. Now, of course, like that's why they also invented things like tests. You're right.
I'm sick.
You're pretending to be sick.
Yeah. All right.
So philosophers tend to look at why things happen in the sense of not just to know the cause, but to also know how to evaluate that. Is it something that has to happen? Is it something necessary? Is it something that can happen? Is it something that we want to have happen? So we ask things like hypotheticals. If I do this, then this will happen. If I do that, then that will happen. And sometimes we even factor in like moral concerns. Like if a doctor misdiagnoses you and says it's virus A, when in fact it's virus B, that's actually dangerous. So a scientist or a doctor, someone in medicine, somebody who uses cause and effect, if they in fact make mistakes or things like that, if we don't know, but we think we know, philosophers come in and kind of correct. So we'll do things like ethics and metaphysics to do a kind of theoretical analysis of how people are understanding cause and effect, because again, sometimes the only way to know the cause of something is to do it theoretically or hypothesize it. We can't see it for sure.
Yeah.
But we have to kind of think about
crawling on my arm.
Right. And
I can't see a single one.
It doesn't mean we have to doubt everything either. It doesn't mean we just don't know what the cause is. We don't know the cause of anything. The good thing is that there's a lot of good science and a lot of good philosophy out there that will tell you things like, give you good insight into how to think about things that are interesting to you at the level of effect. So when we learn about the world, we learn about it not only through what it is, as it is an effect of a lot of causes, but we also can then think about how to change the context so that we can make new things happen in new ways, or take the things that are really boring and that are only meant for certain kinds of things and give it a new story, give a new aesthetic quality to it. So the association of the bug sneezing with the circus parade, very odd, very questionable. It looks like cause and effect. I'm going to argue it's correlation. Because
what's correlation?
It means that correlation is when two things happen at the same time or happen together often enough that we think there's a cause and effect. So
I think it's cause and effect.
Well, that's the difference. Cause and effect is when something always happens in relation to something else because it has to. So you knocked into your water falls over and the water spills. That would be cause and effect. But things that are correlated, like tomorrow we're going to talk about dice and how we throw the dice and we want things to happen. But of course, we correlate, certain kind of wishful thinking. Like you think that if you're wearing something with unicorns, you're going to have good luck. If you aren't wearing your favorite purple earrings, that you might have bad luck. That's a correlation. That's assuming that there's some kind of cause and effect relation between you wearing purple earrings and having a good day. But that doesn't mean that's true. So that's where philosophers come in and kind of talk through what looks like cause and effect may in fact be correlation. It's just things that happen to come together often enough that we associate it. It doesn't mean that it actually is caused by it. And it's a really good scientific concept too. Good scientists know the difference between correlation and causation. So for us, one of the things in the book that I think is really important to emphasize is the moment that the chicken gets mad and kicks the bucket. Ha ha ha, that's funny. Kick the bucket is also a metaphor for
death.
Yes, so that was actually very purposeful, I'm sure, by Dr. Seuss. That when there was actually a choice. The moment the chicken got mad, it wasn't like a cause and effect like you knocking over your water. The moment the chicken got hurt, the chicken didn't have to kick the bucket. Yeah, the chicken kicked the bucket because it was mad.
Like the worm kicked the tree because he was mad.
That too. There's a couple of spots in there in the book where the cause and effect.
The worm got mad. Because he got mad, he kicked a tree.
So there's a difference in the story between, let's say, something getting hit and then the coconut hitting him in the head. That's a cause and effect relation. That's something that's going to happen that isn't negotiable.
So
if you knock something over, gravity will pull it down to the ground at a certain rate and a certain speed, says the physicist, right?
So that's why I wrote choice.
Because that's what I'm talking about today. So fun comes from choice. When you're having fun, it's important that you're making choices. It's also about control. Fun is not fun if you don't have the same kind of control over the ways in which you're enjoying that activity. All right. So here, I have a good question for you. Do you think school should be fun?
It should.
Why? Shouldn't you just do your work? Just learn what you need to learn?
It should be fun because we're there, I don't know, pretty much half our lives.
Out of the mouth of babes.
We're there for pretty much half our lives, and more than half of the day, I think we should have fun.
How important is fun when it comes to learning?
Very. Depends how much you're going to learn. Let's say you're learning for 4 hours. Then you should have at least a little fun. But let's say you're learning for like 5 minutes. It doesn't need to be fun if it's going to be that short.
It's just a short exercise. I used to call those lessons that students always found really boring. I called them the dry toast lesson. I said, this is going to be a dry toast lesson. There's only so much butter I can put on this toast. But honestly, you need to know this stuff. This is stuff that I have to teach you. And I think you need to know this for this reason. But, and again, good teachers with good teaching practices will use that energy when people are doing their own thing and just having fun, but they're not really learning, to redirect the energy, to say, okay, I know you guys want to have fun, so let's have fun in this way for a few minutes, but now we have to go back to get the work done. And I think there's a good way to always take fun and redirect it so that you can learn and not have it be the opposite. Like either I'm learning or I'm having fun. Because once that happens, then you're right. Then you're talking about hours and hours, and it shouldn't be that way.
It makes you tick. Makes you tick like I just ticked.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's also really important to remember that when you're not having fun for long periods of time, you do start finding yourself not enjoying anything. It's hard. Like once you're not having fun, then really you feel it. It becomes negative. You lose your creativity. You get a lot of negative emotions. But I think when you are having fun, it totally changes your mood and your worldview. And so finding ways to be the source of fun, to not simply wait to have fun or to find something that brings fun to you, but to be the one that finds fun wherever you go.
Fun.
Yes.
I totally forgot about pizza, and I'm super hungry.
Super hungry. Speaking of which, here's our pizza video. We did it ourselves. You guys only like certain kinds of pizzas in a certain kind of way, and it was such a source of stress for me because we would get a certain kind of pizza, you guys would like it for a little while, and then all of a sudden you would change your mind.
My sister, we all liked this certain pizza, and then over the years, she actually now hates it.
Yeah. So now
I still like it. It's
and for some reason, you very strange children don't like tomato sauce.
Yeah.
But you like pizza.
I hate
tomato sauce. So I found a special sensitive sauce that has like really no spices, no fancy stuff in it. And that's what we used. We used cheese that you guys would like, and then I gave you guys a lot of choices too in how you wanted to put the pizza together. Food can be fun, and that's what we did. We made something as boring as trying to figure out what to do for lunch, and we decided to like make it something that we wanted to eat. So here, our first step is taking off our rings, including Rosie taking off my ring. Yeah, you got me there, huh? I think you took my ring too. There's some flour on to dust both the stone that we did it on and the rolling pin to roll out the dough. The dough was frozen. We put it in the refrigerator to defrost overnight, and
Looks
then
like it's sticking to the
very sticky
plate.
And then you have to let it rest on the counter in a cloth for 30 minutes before you start messing with it. Now I smack.
Oh yeah.
I had to cut it in half. Of course, it wasn't an even half, so I had to then split it so that you and your sister had an even amount of pizza dough to make pizzas. Although I was making your sister's pizza, so
Still was good pizza.
It's so tempting to want to play with the dough because it's so soft and it's got a nice texture to it. It's so spriggy. But it does get really sticky if you don't use the flour on everything. So I kept rolling the dough around for you because the rolling pin, we still seem to have some lumps and some bubbles inside of it. So we tried to, but you can see we're very not expert.
Pizza ended up as an oval.
Yeah, there was like a big lump on the side. So I came and I hand pulled the pizza, and then I like tried to do what I think the pizza guys do in the pizza store, so in the pizza place. So you can see me, trying to make sure that I stretch it out as much as possible. And then that way you had a chance to do your favorite part, which is the pinching of the crust. Now, we made a mistake. We forgot that once you set up the crust, you're supposed to brush it with olive oil.
Yeah.
And pre-bake or par-bake the crust for 7 minutes at, I think, 450. So we put them on the tray. We really totally forgot about that one step. And so after it par-bakes for 7 minutes, then they become these bubbles. And so it
was so fun popping them.
It's extremely satisfying. All that steam coming out. Oh my goodness, it was so hot. Yeah. So there's the cheese and the sauce. That's the sensitive sauce that you like, very plain Jane. And then spreading it out with a fork. I don't know why. I don't know. That doesn't look very efficient, but
you said
I did. That's on me then. And then you added some Mexican flavored cheese. To finish the pizza, we had to do it at 500 for another 7 to 10. So we hope this was interesting. Our goal was to talk about fun so that you can find fun for yourself. And fun is everywhere. Today's activity, collect things that you find interesting. Make sure you get permission when it comes to collecting. Make sure that you don't take things that don't belong to you, but find things that you find really interesting. Arrange them on a blank piece of paper. I like really small things, but you can do that with really big things as long as you have permission. And you can do them outside. If you don't have a device or anything like that, what you can do then is you can sketch your arrangement into an abstract. So
that's right. You can do that.
You can always take something that is ordinary. Your crayons, right? If you have crayons, pens,
markers,
your shoes, but arranging ordinary objects in new ways can also make it aesthetically interesting. And take yourself out of the ordinary and into something extraordinary. And that would be the goal of a philosopher, is to make the ordinary extraordinary. And we hope we did that for you. All right. So have fun. Take good care of the people around you. Be kind. And bye, everybody. Bye.